In 1865, Lewis Carroll published Alice's Adventures in Wonderland. The Salvation Army was founded, and for the first time, climbers reached the summit of the Matterhorn. In America in 1865, a war, which had ravaged the nation for over 4 years, was coming to a close. In May of 1865, a month after the assassination of President Lincoln, Nathan Bedford Forrest, a Confederate Army general, sat in a dirty tavern in Tennessee, drinking away his sorrow. A millionaire before the war, he had lost everything with the surrender of the South. As he stared down his bottle of whiskey, Forrest conceived of a new way to gain Southern independence. 2 weeks later, Bedford Forrest contacted John Erickson, inventor of the ironclad USS Monitor, to help him create a new mechanical marvel. Forrest and Erickson toiled in secret for nearly a year before they unleashed their invention on an unsuspecting North. As one Northerner put it, you could hear the screams coming from miles away, as soldiers and civilians alike ran from the killing steps of giant evil robot Lincoln.
To be a Northern soldier, seeing a giant crest over the hill. You see his laser eyes burning the land. What do? You run. You flee. You live to fight another day.
But really, he was compassionate towards the plight of the South. That was the important thing. This wasn't just, the kind of robot that burned crops and cattle and consumed ale and whorehouses. This was a robot that really cared for the people, and that people was the South.
Well, there was one cocky Northern soldier by the name of Henry Wiggins III, and he said, well, I'm not afraid of giant evil robot Lincoln. I think that I could get my cigar lit by his evil laser eyes. And Henry Wiggins had the unfortunate time of meeting giant evil robot Lincoln on the field of battle, and he was disintegrated where he stood by those very evil laser eyes, much to, I think, his chagrin, and possibly those of his horse.
A week before the Second Battle of Gettysburg, Haywood Marks, a private in the 125th Maryland Volunteers, wrote home to his wife.
My loving Bethesda God, I think only of you sitting here in the cold, damp fields where we all lay. To be here with my comrades in the footsteps of giant evil robot Lincoln is very much like falling asleep in a barn that has been burned. I see the looks on their eyes. I see the terrible wounds inflicted upon them. And I smell the fine, fine odor of cooking meat. And I realize that it is my friends. And I feel guilty. Know now that I fear I might never kiss those soft, succulent lips again, though often I am awoken in the middle of the night, being licked by a coyote. And that does give me some comfort. Your loving Haywood.
Haywood Marks was killed a week later in the Second Battle of Gettysburg.
Sherman, after his successful march to the sea, continues a new march. A march to the White House, where he then proclaims himself Emperor of the United States.
After suffering such great losses due to the cold steel hands of giant evil robot Lincoln, the North was now pressed for more soldiers to carry on the war. With most of the enlisted or drafted men now dead, the Union was faced with a hard decision. In May, Emperor Sherman signed a bill that enslaved all the free blacks that had fled from the South, so that they too could fight against the unstoppable machine.
Well, now the freed blacks were very, very happy to arrive in the North after having heard about the Emancipation Proclamation, but of course they were immediately saddened upon hearing about the new Enslave the Nation Proclamation.
But eventually, the word spread, and the Africans just stopped coming. It was actually, ironically, safer for them in the South than it was in the North.
As the end of 1867 approached, many Americans believed that war would never end. No one could conceive of a weapon that could stop evil Lincoln. But as the frigate USS Last Hope of the Union was pulling into a New Jersey harbor, it carried the one thing that could turn the tide of war.